going to go to our next speaker now, who is Kerri Bruss from the United States of America. Kerri is a retired nurse, proud mother of two, lifelong feminist. As an active volunteer with WDI USA, she wears many hats, serves as the US country contact for the international organization, and is a member of the editorial team that worked hard to bring WDI's first book project to fruition. And that we'll hear a lot more about the book in the next few webinars with speakers from some of the chapters of the book. It's just looking unbelievably good, this book that's going to be coming out in the next month or so. Kerri is passionate about defending women's sex-based rights and the safeguarding of children. So thank you so much for coming to tell us about signing the declaration, and over to you, Kerri.
An honor and a pleasure to be here with you today to speak about why I signed the declaration. And as I've adapted these remarks from a speech I gave last year at Kelly J. Keene's Let Women Speak event in Chicago that few could actually hear, I appreciate being given the opportunity to deliver them again, this time without the interference of an unruly mob. Okay, so here we go. About 3 years ago, I was chatting with a new friend at a feminist event in Washington, D.C., when she asked what brought me to this fight, and I needed a moment to reflect. Because like many of us, I initially didn't see the harms of gender ideology. Before the so-called bathroom wars went into full swing in North Carolina, I agreed with my liberal-leaning friends that people should be accepted for who they are and that they should be free to use the restrooms they felt most comfortable in. I had fallen for the cash-fueled propaganda that gender identity was a civil rights issue of our time. In truth, I really wasn't thinking too deeply about any of this as recently as 2015, when Bruce Jenner appeared on the cover of Vanity Fair magazine as the stereotypically glamorous and sexy Caitlyn in June of that year, accompanied by an article covering his alleged transition to womanhood. I don't recall blinking an eye and may have even quietly cheered him on. I paid no heed when the push for gender-neutral bathrooms in public facilities began in the state of Vermont in 2009, and missed when this idea spread like wildfire through U.S. college campuses, so that by 2013, at least 150 universities and a growing number of high schools had installed them. I was blissfully unaware that the first gender-neutral bathroom in the White House was so designated by President Obama in 2015. But by mid-2016, I was definitely paying closer attention to the arguments for and against taking place in the news and on social media, and beginning to think more critically about the issue, as well as its broader implications. But when I saw a social media thread where a highly respected woman, locally as well as internationally known for her lifelong advocacy on behalf of LGBT people and women and children, was being viciously trashed by fellow progressives for the crime of clearly articulating how that point of view puts women and children at increased risk of harm. It gave me pause as well as food for thought, and I began to question my stance. For the record, that woman was Miriam Ben Shalom, a woman I now consider a friend. Not long thereafter, I began to see reports about lesbians being assaulted at and evicted from pride events for being who they are, namely same-sex attracted females who don't include males in their dating pools, no matter what they call themselves, and images on social media of women being hung in effigy by raging mobs of predominantly white males. And this abhorrent behavior was being cheered on by the masses as both warranted and admirable. Surely the well-intentioned liberals I had been organizing with on other issues for a decade wouldn't behave this way without due cost. Obviously, I was wrong. And when I started seeing women being referred to as menstruators, uterus havers, vagina owners, and other grossly dehumanizing terms, it finally dawned on me they were not only colonizing the word woman, they were coming for the word mother too. And that's when I said, oh no, not gonna happen. As the mother of two grown sons, the word means a great deal to me. Being a mother is a huge part of who I am and how I define myself. And as the Declaration says simply in Article 2, motherhood is an exclusively female status. End of story. Men are not and never can be mothers. Not all women are or want to be mothers, but damn straight, every mother is a woman. Men can't have our word for the uniquely female experience of gestating and birthing a child. I started saying no then, and I'm still saying it loudly, persistently. What I next needed to find was a community of activists to collectively say no with. And fortunately, I discovered the Declaration on Women's Sex-Based Rights, cheered as the organization it was founded on, launched in March 2019, signed it at my earliest convenience, and got myself connected. I had found my sisters, as Renee Gerlich implored us at a talk in Brisbane, Australia later that year, which further inspired me to step up my activism. Her talk concluded with the following excerpt, and I hope I can get through the quote without choking up. In a culture that honored women, cared for children, and grounded in the natural world, the spread of transgender ideology would not occur. Voltaire's famous warning that those who can make you believe absurdities can make you commit atrocities is also pertinent. It is a dangerous and threatening climate we live in, a climate in which the absurdities of transgenderism are promoted so widely while they cause such serious harm and yet are taboo to question. Women who speak out face ostracism and losing their livelihoods at the hands of the very same people who are currently joining mass movements that claim to fight for the planet and social justice. Yet, as Audre Lorde famously said, your silence will not protect you. So to women out there holding their tongues to stay safe, I say, we are living in an era of rising authoritarianism, and this ideology is one vehicle for it. You need to find your sisters. Now is the time to speak the truth where you can, in spite of those who will turn on you or who refuse to offer you solidarity, and find your sisters. We are here, we are healing, and finding our voices together, and we want you among us. End quote. Our movement isn't quite at critical mass yet, but we're getting there. If there ever was a time to push, it's now. Find your sisters. Thank you.